everyone. Thank you all for staying. I know that we are all in the beauty industry, whether it's for hair, facials, lashes, and more. So with the raise of hands, how many of you guys here have seen somebody with or know somebody with permanent makeup or microblading? Perfect. Okay, good amount of people. I know it's the first thing that I notice on a person's face when I'm not working. And there's a saying about brows. I think it's the one thing you can get into shape without exercising. Hey. My name is Michelle. Did it work? My name is Michelle. I'm the owner and founder of Evoluxe Studio&Academy. And I've done many procedures as well as trained many students who are interested in joining this industry. I'm here to talk to you guys today about permanent makeup or microblading beauty trends in 2022. So before we get into the beauty trends of this year, I wanted to give you guys a little background about how microblading got started. So for those that don't know, microblading is a tattooing technique where a small handheld blade made of several tiny needles is used to create fine cuts into the skin that creates hair strokes. It's actually gained popularity in Europe and in the US the last couple of years, but it's been around in Asia for over 25 years. Wow. While it was popular in Asia, it was gaining popularity all over the world, and by 2010, Dr. Laura Dixon from the US actually gave the term microblading to this procedure. At this time, by 2015, everybody worldwide had known what the term microblading meant, and people were starting to experiment with this procedure. And I was definitely one of those people. I remember hearing about it on Instagram in 2017. That's me right there. I remember hearing about it on Instagram in 2017, and back then when Instagram still had the following tab where you could see what your friends were liking and commenting, and you could stalk them. I went to school at the time in Bellingham, which is about an hour away from the Canadian border, and I just found this girl on Instagram that did eyebrows, trusted her, and drove up to get my eyebrows done by her. Spontaneously, I drove up during one of my lunch breaks and trusted this random girl to cut into my eyebrows. It was one of the coolest and weirdest things that I've ever done, but nonetheless, right after the procedure, I was super happy with the results. I mean, I had gone from sparse eyebrows that looked super thin and I struggled to fill in with daily to now brows that were super full and fluffy. However, once the brows have healed, it was a different story. The brows turned out to be really patchy and most of the color did not come back. I had later found out that microblading was actually not suitable for oily and combo skin, which is what I had. And after I realized this, I figured there must be some other type of procedure that is more suitable for my skin types, which is oily and combo. And I was definitely not the only one at this time who was experimenting with this technique. I mean, at this time, I was seeing all over my Instagram feed, microblading eyebrows, brows. People were starting to get into this industry, and because of the popularity of microblading, many artists were rushing to self-teach themselves how to microblade. Now, with the second question, I want to ask you guys, how many of you guys here have seen somebody or know somebody with bad PMU or microblading? Yeah, a good amount of people. I would say almost half that raised their hand earlier. So in my industry, it is very common to see that. Actually, corrections are way more common than new procedures. So can I ask you, what did you think was bad about that microblading job?
It was fuzzy, so it was no longer crisp.
Like the strokes itself?
Yeah, the strokes itself. So it I don't know, bled out looking.
Yeah.
And then also the color change, from it being a deeper dark color to I got a tattoo and it's blue now.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's actually a really common thing that we see in the industry. As I was saying earlier, if you have oily or combo skin, microblading is not going to be suited for you. It's most likely going to blur. And in terms of the deepness or the darkness, it pretty much just means that the artist went really, really deep.
When you say deep, do
deep into the skin. Yeah, like their depth and pressure is not right. Messing people up over here, right?
How
So-
many layers should you go into this?
You're supposed to go to the top of the dermis layer into the basal cells. It's kind of hard to like say that without like a graph. You know, you're like, yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. So with that in mind, by 2018, many people were having similar experience to me where they were having botched work, bad experiences, and just underwhelming results in general. Because of the new rush of artists, a lot of people were experiencing this, and this is some examples of botched work that you guys can see. Botched work anywhere from going too deep, picking the wrong color, to completely going outside of the client's eyebrow shape.
Not my work.
Not my work, though. And by 2019, media outlets like Allure, the Daily Mail, and the New York Post had actually picked up on these clients who had bad experiences with untrained artists, giving us a bad rep in our industry. So this one's actually a recent one, but this one actually went pretty viral recently where I think she was trying to perform nano brows, which is a machine technique, on this girl, and she just completely went outside of her brow shape. And then this one, she completely gave her 4 eyebrows instead of 2.
That's wild.
So after this media outlet and everything going viral, the industry took a complete 180 shift. Now, trainers who were doing 2-day courses with no live models and cramming over 20 students into one area were now making their class sizes smaller, more informative, and providing live models. And just as an industry overall, we started to reflect and review on our work. We started to see why were we having clients come back with poor retention and what we could do about that. And as you guys know, clients in the industry, they talk, and when they talk to each other, word gets around, and that gave us more pressure to do better on ourselves. So as an industry, we started to see that microblading was not suitable for oily and combo skin, and especially porous, as it would blur and fade too quickly. So this is an example of a mature skin. They got microblading, and then this is how it looks healed. I think that the artist either went, she did go at the right depth, but the skin is just not suitable for the microblading procedure itself. And so after we realized this, we started to experiment with different procedures, machine procedures like powder ombre. Powder ombre, it was the next big thing in the industry. We started to see clients come back with retention that was 70 to 90% better, and it provided us with more predictable heal results. For those that don't know, the thing that makes powder ombre different from microblading is that it's done with a machine. This is my client, by the way. This is her healed powder ombre. So this is her on the left, right after. And then this is her healed at 2 months, I believe.
Wow.
So you can see that it's really good retention. I barely had to do a touch-up on her. And for those that don't know, powder ombre is done with a permanent makeup machine that fills in the brows, creating a misty look that goes from light at the beginning of the brows to dark at the tail, creating a gradient effect, hence the name ombre. So this is the machine that we would use, and then this is a tattoo cartridge that we also use as well. Now, by 2020, my Instagram feed was filled with these beautifully sculpted brows that looked like only a professional makeup artist had done them, but in reality, it was actually powder ombre tattoo, and it healed beautifully. Everything that PMU artists knew about microblading were now starting to get replaced by powder ombre, and microblading artists were now going to learn how to use a machine and perfect their shading. But because powder ombre is so different from microblading, artists had to relearn everything from their stretch to their hand movements and more. And as you guys can see, the industry is moving at an exponential rate, and now other services were starting to get added by other artists like Dusty Liner. Dusty Liner is where it looks like a really pixelated on top of the liner part that we've tattooed. This is my eyeliner client. And then as well as scalp micropigmentation, this is where artists can actually create fullness in the balding areas by dotting little pigments to scar camouflage if for clients that wanted to blend in their scars. So now at this point, the industry is revolutionizing. It's not just beauty anymore, but we're now changing lives. We're giving women who had alopecia a chance to feel confident again after losing their brow hair. We're giving men a chance to do something about hair loss, and we're helping women who battle with breast cancer feel like they're in control of their body again through 3D areola tattooing. But as you guys know, we are talking about beauty trends, and since the PMU industry always changes, and when it changes fast, I want to talk to you guys about the beauty trends of 2022. So I want to fast forward to today. Today, the trend of less is more, the clean girl aesthetic, and the minimalistic look is back. Everything that I see on TikTok is all about letting your natural beauty shine and not caking in the makeup. Now, people were placing a huge emphasis on skincare, hair care, and just in general, taking care of yourself from the inside out. As for the PMU industry, we're now taking an interest back into the hair stroke look again. But we know, and we have come a long way from where we were a few years ago with microblading, and we know that it wasn't gonna work because it's not suitable for people with oily or porous skin, and it only works for about 20% of the population, and those people have near perfect skin. So we figured, can't we just use the same machine and the same needle that we use to create powder brows to create nano brows? I mean, if it helped us with predictable results, better retention, wouldn't it help for nano brows as well? And this is how nano brows came to be. So you can see that's how nano brows are done. So powder versus nano. Same machine, same needle. So now Nano Brows was born, and Nano Brows is a machine technique where artists will use a fine needle to deposit pigment into the skin that create natural-looking hair strokes. So these are some examples of my clients. This one is more fluffy looking, and that one is a more like clean nano brow look. So there's varying degrees to however you can make this look work for your own clients. Now clients can get it regardless of skin texture, and artists were loving that you can offer it to all clients regardless of their skin types. And it was the next big thing in the industry. However, although this technique is very beautiful and had amazing results, it was very, very hard to master. Imagine you were trying to create a small, straight line with a vibrating machine. Now repeating that 30 to 50 times per eyebrow. So that's why, artists were wanting to offer this service. And because it is such a highly skilled service, you can offer it for about $600 to $800 per client. Clients who did their research knew how valuable it was to find an artist that was skilled enough to offer this service. And they were willing to pay the money too. In addition to the fluffy brows that Nano created, another trend that we're seeing this year is lip blush. So these are my employees' lip blush. So there's more of a red tone, and that's more of a peachy tone. So you can customize the color to however you want it. I don't know about you guys, but do you guys remember a year to 2 years ago when everybody and their mama was getting lip fillers?
It's still happening.
Yeah, it's still happening, right? I know I did. I almost got lip fillers as well. I got so influenced under social media. But those clients who got lip fillers a year to 2 years ago and started to get it very often were now experiencing migration or filler migration. All I saw on TikTok was girls going through the painful process of dissolving their lip fillers to go for a more natural look. And this is a key contributing factor to why lip blush gained its wide popularity this year. Lip blush can actually make your lips fuller by defining your vermilion border. Your vermilion border is the border that's between your skin and your lips. So for example, if you have a really light vermilion border, you can actually get lip blush and it can actually make it look fuller. So clients love this because they can have nice, full lips without going through the risk of filler migration or the pain of lip fillers. Clients loved how natural it healed, and artists loved that it only took about 3 to 4 hours, and clients usually were always happy with the results. As you guys can see, the trend in the PMU industry is always changing, and I wanted to tell you guys, why am I telling you guys all of this? Well, because the PMU industry is a new and upcoming industry. It is very hot. We see new artists every single day, and with new artists, there's new ideas and opinions. Any new trends are instantly picked up, and I wanted to tell you guys because I was there once too. I was super lost in school, and I was going to school just for my parents, pretty much. But I wasn't really going to school because I wanted to, because I was happy for my because I wanted to go for my parents, After recalling back to my story in the beginning, after I got my eyebrows done in Canada, after I had got the procedures done, like many of us, I'm sure, I started to do the math about how much money this girl was making. I realized, dang, she's making $500. That took her 3 hours. She could take 3 clients a day, so she's making $1.5K a day. And I realized, damn, I can make some money doing this. So that's why I wanted to give it a go, and I had nothing to lose. I thought, money comes and go, but why not at least give it a try? So I'm a first-generation immigrant, like I said earlier, that went to college to make my parents happy, but also struggled to balance between living my own life and dreams. I actually worked as a server for 6 months to save up for this PMU class that I found online. At the time, I didn't really know what to look for in a trainer and how to see if she was a good trainer or not. I just saw that she had a lot of students. So I went to the training, and after I did it, it was super underwhelming. She didn't teach marketing, she didn't teach how to set up your workstation, client retention, or any of that. And I'm sure some of us in this room have been there where we've gone to a training and we felt like it was underwhelming or maybe a waste of money. So after I took this class, I actually practiced for about a month, and I realized I need to pay my bills. So I rented out a really small space in Bellingham at the time. This is super, super small, 60 square foot. Fit only my stool, my bed, and my cabinets. And I struggled really, really hard. I wanted to give up. I cried. At one point I had $1.12 to my name, but I still persevered and I still continued. Keep in mind, I'm running this business full-time. I'm running this business while going to school full-time at the time to get my BA in marketing. So you can imagine how stressful that was. I did end up graduating with a BA in marketing with a focus in social media marketing, and I moved back to Seattle, where during COVID, I was blessed enough to find my own storefront in Ballard, and this is what it looks like. And now I get to live the life that I dream of, making 6 figures yearly in profit. When I found out that Irina had this idea to do a beauty conference, I knew that I had to take up this opportunity to give you guys a chance to know about the permanent makeup industry and how it can change your life like it did mine. However, I know you guys are all in the beauty industry, so if you do decide to join the permanent makeup industry, I wanted to make sure that you know what to look for so you don't make the same mistakes as me. So after I took that initial training, I actually furthered my knowledge by going to new trainings every 6 months. And, I went to these new trainings. They were great. I learned something different from every single trainer, but I also saw lacking points in all the trainers. I realized I could combine all my years of knowledge and mistakes to help somebody where I was at years ago. And that's how Evoluxe Academy was made to be. Now I get to train students from all backgrounds, from nurses, stay-at-home moms, and watch them gain confidence in themselves as artists. So if you guys are interested in joining the industry and you don't know where to start, I actually have a free webinar that I can show you guys. Anything from licensing to insurance or anything like that. If you guys ever have any questions, just message me on Instagram, or you can reach out to me after this as well. I'll give you guys a second. I want to thank you I want to thank Arena for hosting this. I know it was a lot of work. You did a great job for the first event. I want to thank you all you guys for staying and listening, and let's build a community together.